The interaction between empathy and autism is a complex and ongoing field of research. Several different factors are proposed to be at play. A study of high-functioning adults with autistic spectrum disorders found an increased prevalence of alexithymia, a personality construct characterized by the inability to recognize and articulate emotional arousal in oneself or others. Some fMRI research indicates that alexithymia contributes to a lack of empathy. The lack of empathic attunement inherent to alexithymic states may reduce quality and satisfaction of relationships. Empathy deficits associated with the autism spectrum may be due to significant comorbidity between alexithymia and autism spectrum conditions rather than a result of social impairment. Relative to typically developing children, high-functioning autistic children showed reduced mirror neuron activity in the brain's inferior frontal gyrus, pars opicularis, while imitating and observing emotional expressions in neurotypical children. EEG evidence revealed significantly greater mu suppression in the sensory motor cortex of autistic individuals. Activity in this area was inversely related to symptom severity in the social domain, suggesting that a dysfunctional mirror neuron system may underlie social and communication deficits observed in autism, including impaired theory of mind and cognitive empathy. The mirror neuron system is essential for emotional empathy. Studies have suggested that autistic individuals have an impaired theory of mind. Theory of mind relies on structures of the temporal lobe and the prefrontal cortex. Empathy relies on the sensory motor cortices as well as limbic and paralimbic structures. The lack of clear distinctions between theory of mind and cognitive empathy may have caused an incomplete understanding of the empathic abilities of those with Asperger syndrome. Many reports on the empathic deficits of individuals with Asperger syndrome are actually based on impairments in theory of mind. Although autistic people have difficulties in recognizing and articulating emotions, some studies have reported that while they may lack cognitive empathy, the ability to assume another's emotions, they have higher than average levels of affective empathy, feeling the emotions that another is feeling. Once they are known, individuals on the autistic spectrum self-report lower levels of empathic concern, show less or absent comforting responses toward someone who is suffering, and report equal or higher levels of personal distress compared to controls. The combination of reduced empathic concern and increased personal distress may lead to the overall reduction in empathy. Professor Simon Baron-Cohen suggests that those with classic autism often lack both cognitive and affective empathy. However, other research found no evidence of impairment in autistic individuals' ability to understand other people's basic intentions or goals. Instead, data suggests that impairments are found in understanding more complex social emotions or in considering others' viewpoints. People with Asperger syndrome may have problems understanding others' perspectives in terms of theory of mind, but the average person with the condition demonstrates equal empathic concern as and higher personal distress than controls. The existence of individuals with heightened personal distress on the autism spectrum is a possible explanation for why some people with autism appear to have heightened emotional empathy. Although increased personal distress may be an effect of heightened egocentrism, emotional empathy depends on mirror neuron activity, which, as described previously, has been found to be reduced in those with autism. And empathy in people on the autism spectrum is generally reduced. Empathy deficits present in autism spectrum disorders may be more indicative of impairments in the ability to take the perspective of others, while the empathy deficits in psychopathy may be more indicative of impairments in responsiveness to others' emotions. These disorders of empathy further highlight the importance of the ability to empathize, by the way they illustrate some of the consequences of disrupted empathy development. The empathizing systemizing theory, ES, classifies people by testing their capabilities along two independent dimensions, empathizing, E, and systemizing, S, to establish their empathy quotient, EQ, and systemizing quotient, square. 5. Brain types can be distinguished based on such scores, which are theorized to correlate with differences at the neural level. In ES theory, autism and Asperger syndrome are associated with below-average empathy and average or above-average systemizing. The ES theory has been extended into the extreme male brain theory, which suggests that people with an autism spectrum condition are more likely to have an extreme type S brain type, corresponding with above-average systemizing but challenged empathy. The extreme male brain (EMB) theory proposes that individuals on the autistic spectrum are characterized by impairments in empathy due to sex differences in the brain. Specifically, people with autism spectrum conditions show an exaggerated male profile. Some aspects of autistic neuroanatomy seem to be extrapolations of typical male neuroanatomy, which may be influenced by elevated levels of fetal testosterone rather than gender itself. The double empathy problem theory proposes that prior studies on autism and empathy may have been misinterpreted and that autistic people show the same levels of cognitive empathy towards one another as non-autistic people do.